What up, AOK Mafia? It's your boy Artofkickz. Just like that, we back with another one. Alright, y'all. So we got another one of these prison sentence type videos, but this one's a little different. This one is top 10 people who outlive insane prison sentence. I think we've done one of these before, but this one we have not. Y'all boys and girls ready? I'm ready. Let's go!
You don't know you most amazing people. I'm Landon, and I actually just got back from my honeymoon from Italy. I pre-filmed a ton of videos, which is why it kind of looks like I never left. I didn't go anywhere, but I went there.
I do the same thing. Whenever I go anywhere, I pre-film a ton of videos and have them scheduled to upload while I'm gone.
If you guys want to check out the vlog videos I've been doing, you guys can click right over here. And in this video, I went to a restaurant, me and my wife, we ordered some food, but the guy didn't want to serve us. He told me to go back to my country. The guy was just a racist guy. We filmed the whole thing. He's flipping the birdie. He's telling me off. If you guys want to watch this video, click right here. And also there's another vlog video if you guys want to go through the channel where I almost got arrested for being brown. I got pulled over.
Y'all see? Racism still exists in this world. Crazy.
ID checked. It was really crazy. I mean, what's going on in Italy? If you guys want to check it out, you guys can click right here. Also, I'll put the link in the description below. But other than all of that, Italy was amazing. The food was great. And I can't wait to go back. Okay, so enough of all that. Let's get right into this list. This is the top...
Wish I had a wife to take to Italy. I think I'm gonna have to go by myself. But yeah, nah. I was thinking about that earlier today. You know what? I'm about to book a trip. I don't know where I'm going, don't care. I'm going by myself. I just will.
10 people who outlived insane prison sentences. Starting off at number 10, we have Eddie Collins. And this is not to get confused with Eddie Collins, the American baseball player. We're talking about a man who's been locked up for the past 43 years. Woo! Eddie was serving time for first-degree murder. Throughout his prison stay, he said, and I quote, "It was a sad situation. It was something I regret and still regret." He was...
No, wait. The video I think we did before was people that had insane prison sentence, not necessarily outlived them. So yeah, this is definitely different.
21 years old, living in Arizona at the time he was locked up. He grew up in the bad part of the city where he was buying drugs with his 17-year-old brother. Well, one day when Eddie and his brother was buying drugs, they got into an altercation, and that's when Eddie pulled out a gun, and you guys know what happens next. Bam, bam, life in jail. Moving into number 9, we're talking about Otis Johnson, who just served 44 years behind bars. Otis went to prison at the age of 25 years old for attempted murder of a police officer. Otis has been locked away since the 70s, and now he's just entered into the modern society of complex technology. It's gonna be a really tough time for him, but he did commit a horrible crime. Back in 1990...
That's insane. Think about that, though. It's like you walk out, you'd be like, whoa! Everything's touchscreen. I can wait. What's this? I can order food at McDonald's, and I don't have to go to the register. I can just touch it on the screen right here. What? This is crazy. Look at this phone. Look how skinny it is, and it's all glass. What the what? What? I can watch a movie on this phone?
Was when he lost touch with his family, so he doesn't know anything about them or where they are. He's just alone in the world. When he was released from prison,
that's really sad. Did he actually kill a cop though?
And they gave him his ID back, and they gave him 40 bucks. Here you go, spending spree. He is for sure gonna have to renew his ID because, I mean, he's been locked away for a very long time. And $40 won't actually get you that far. And oh yeah, he also got 2 bus tickets. I mean, where the heck is Otis gonna go? He enters the world as a homeless person. He was released at the age of 69 years old. Most of your life is gone.
Yeah, think about that though. You get released into the world as a homeless person. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, he has to learn something in order to be able to get a job, but he has to start from ground zero with learning any type of trade or anything. I mean, he can't work a register. He has to maybe get a janitor job or something. And he looked like he was in New York. You need to get the heck up out of New York as quick as you can, because the cost of living in New York compared to here is crazy. Or go to South Carolina. South Carolina is cheap.
You've lived it and it was in jail. He can no longer work, so I'm not sure how he's gonna make a living. Well, I guess that was a decision he should have decided 44 years ago. Number 8, we have John Franzese, who is a 100-year-old mob.
I'm not gonna, man, it's unfortunate because I almost feel that him being a 70-year-old man being let out into the world and him just being confused And actually, it might be better for him to stay in prison. You know, it might be better for him to stay in prison because there he had a roof over his head and he was being fed every day. And he had a gym that he can go to and work out. You know, it's unfortunate, but some people do view things to be that way. Criminals, once they get out of jail and being let out into the world after, you know, being locked up for so long, they're like, man, it was better in prison. Nobody's giving me a chance out here.
Who was just released from prison after serving 50 years behind bars. John was released on the 23rd of June of this year. So that was just like weeks ago. He was released from the Federal Medical Center. John was an underboss of the crime organization. John has boasted about killing at least 60 people in his lifetime of crime. It's actually so crazy to me that this guy was allowed to be released into the public. I know he's probably now a very, very harmless old man who can't really do anything, but he didn't give those 60 people a chance at life. Right. I don't know, I'm just saying.
That's
serving
crazy.
60 years at number 7, I
should have just kept his butt in there.
Have Harvey Stewart. Harvey was released back in 2011 at the age of 83 years old. Harvey Stewart has a really long rap sheet, from a junkyard heist in Houston to murdering someone. During most of his prison stay, not many people visited him, and Stewart can't recall one person who visited him in the past decade or two. He has been isolated from the world and doesn't know what's been going on. He doesn't know the Paul brothers are taking over YouTube. So coming out after 60 years must be a huge shock to him, especially this. Like, what is that? How do you explain that that was the most popular thing this year? When he was sentenced to prison, a Volkswagen Beetle cost just $1,700. Shoes were $10. John out.
Damn, Beetle was $1,700. God, a brand new Beetle. Look how beautiful that car is. $1,700.
Cost just $1,700. Shoes were $10. John F. Kennedy was president. People went to space for the first time. The Beatles just released their first single in the UK. So much has changed over time. Number 6, we have a man who served 62 years behind bars. We're talking about Hugh Alderman. He was a bank robber who was obviously caught.
62 years and he made it out.
His jail sentence started when he was 23 years old back in 1917. Hugh was the sole survivor
1917
of a 4-man gang. Just a few years after being sent to prison, he was able to escape, and he escaped again in 1924. In 1927, he was released to a mental hospital where he passed away at the age of 86 years old. Hugh lost his whole life just because he wanted some money. He didn't want to work for it. He was able to steal $6,000, which is like, what the heck? But back then, that's $6,000 back then. With inflation, the money now would be worth around $124,000. That's still not enough money to just lose your whole life, like to take chance of that. I don't know. Now, this person has lived a really sad story, and this person comes in at number 5. And I'm talking about Charles Edward Ford, who outlived a 64-year-long prison sentence. The sad part is, Charles was innocent. He has served one of the longest sentences as an innocent person.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. 64 years in prison as an innocent person. That's 64 years I ain't getting no loving from no woman. Oh no. You could have left me in there.
He was actually released from prison just last year. Charles was convicted of murder. Well, here's a little backstory. This took place in the early 50s, and Charles is a black man who appeared in front of an all-white juror in a time where black people didn't have any rights. Charles was just 20 years old at the time, and his life just flashed before him. After 64 years, he was finally released in a nursing center where he's now 86 years old. I mean, this is a really sad situation. There's no way to give him his life back. Howard Christensen is next up on this list at number 4. Howard was sentenced to life without parole for the murder of a teacher in 1937.
That's crazy. Think about that though. Like, you get released from prison and you're put into a nursery home to just whittle away and die just a little bit more peaceful than you would have died if you were in prison, maybe, because you know sometimes they're not treated so fairly in the nursing homes. But man, that just sucks. I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
He was 16 years old at the time when he murdered a teacher. He committed this crime alongside a 17-year-old who was also caught for the crime. That person was also sentenced to life in prison, but they hung themselves back in 1943, just 6 years after being sentenced. About 30 years into the prison sentence, the sentence was changed from life without parole to 200 years in prison. But in 2001, after serving 64 years, he was released from prison, but just 2 years after that, he passed away. Number 3, Richard Honeck. At the age of 22 years old, Richard was sentenced to life in prison for murder of a former school friend. Life in prison sentence usually varies depending on where you live in the world. It can depend on what state you live in or what city you live in. I know this state has very different laws. Some places they even have a 3-strike law, meaning no matter what crime you commit, if it's 3 crimes, you're sentenced to life. So for Richard, he was paroled after serving 63 years and 1 month in jail. He was released at the age of 85 years old. He lived out another 12 years until he passed away at the age of 97 years old, and that was back in 1976. Now at number 2, we have Johnson Van Dyke Grigsby. Johnson was sentenced to prison back in 1908 for murder. Over the years, he was denied parole 33 times before he was finally released at the age of 89 years old because he was deemed not a threat to anyone anymore. He wasn't a threat to society, so let's just release him. He was released in 1974 after serving 66 years, but he actually quickly returned back to prison voluntarily after finding it too difficult to find a job. So we checked him.
You see, I told you guys. Some of y'all didn't believe me. Y'all thought I was BSing. No, it happens very, very often. Even with people that serve far less sentences, they can be in there 10 to 20 years and still feel like it's hard for them to acclimate back into regular society. Just like this guy.
Back into prison for 2 more years. So now at the age of 91 years old, he's finally out of prison for good. And then 10 years after that, at the age of 101 years old, he passed away. I mean, that's a really sad situation when you check yourself back into prison because you don't know any other life. Finally, at number 1, we have Paul Geidel Jr., who is known to have served the longest prison sentence in the United States, possibly the world. He was sentenced to 68 years in a variety of different New York State prisons, and he actually lived to see the day when he was released from prison. That is actually a very rare thing.
Wait, I gotta go back. Because I'm too busy thinking about the last dude, and I'm just thinking if that was me, what would I have done? I probably would have checked myself back into prison too. I'm like, yo, I'm too old out here, and I don't know what the heck going on in this world, and I can't get no job. Just I knew this life for 66 years. Give it to me.
It's the 68 years.
68 years and he survived that? Gotcha!
Variety of different New York State prisons, and he actually lived to see the day when he was released from prison. That is actually a very rare thing. At the end of his lengthy sentence, he was paroled at the age of 86 years old. Back in 1911, Paul was convicted of second-degree murder at the age of 17 years old. When Paul was paroled, he actually didn't want to leave prison because that was the only life that he knew. But at the end, he decided to leave. So when he left, there was a lot of reporters there, but he said he doesn't want any publicity. He doesn't want to be on the news. He doesn't even care if people know who he is. Paul went on to live in a nursing home before dying at the age of 93 years old, which is about 7 years after being released from prison. This guy only spent about 24 years of his entire life as a free man. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys very soon in a new Most Amazing Top 10 video.
Wow, that is so sad. That is so crazy that these people, man. See, this is why crime doesn't pay, man. You can lose your freedom, lose your life, not be able to go out and do things and enjoy the world, the beautiful world, and all the things that it has to offer. I mean, heck, most of us felt like we've been in prison for the last year or two, which is why I was feeling like I need to take a step back from content for a few weeks and travel somewhere and free up my mind or something, because I feel burnt out and I'm ready to explore a little bit. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. Like this reaction, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, the link to the video is going to be down in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure you follow your boy on the gram and Twitter at Artofkickz. And I will catch y'all in the next one.